The second half of 2023 has given us a lot of positives to warm our hearts. So counting down on the positives of the 9th month of the year. Here are the top 5 positive news stories of September 2023. If you liked the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press the super thanks button and contribute whatever you can to the channel. Your contributions will help us create more engaging and informative positive videos. Number 5. Africa NGO purchases world's largest captive rhino population to rewild 2,000 across the continent. A giant conservation NGO has purchased the largest privately owned rhino herd on Earth to rewild them in secret locations over the next 10 years. More than 2,000 white rhinos had been bred in captivity as part of a project called Platinum Rhino to flood the East Asian rhino horn trade with sustainably harvested horns in order to drastically lower the price and thus disincentivize poachers. However, the breeder, John Hume of South Africa, ran out of money after the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species remained adamant that they would not grant him an exception for the sale of rhino horn, banned as it has been since 1974, and so Hume put all the animals up for auction in April. This month, Africa's biggest wildlife NGO, African Parks, announced it had purchased the entire platinum herd for the purpose of rewilding them across sites in southern Africa. The organization managed to secure significant emergency funding that not only allowed them to buy all the rhinos, but also pay for an international intra-Africa relocation of the animals. These 2,000 are approximately 15% of the remaining wild population of southern white rhino. Many of them were bred in Hume's massive ranch, while he took in many others who were rescued because their mother's milk dried up or because they had been orphaned. Number 4. Powerlifter with Down syndrome hailed an inspiration after overcoming his challenges to win European gold. In Bordeaux, a British powerlifter with Down syndrome is a walking, pressing, squatting inspiration to all who watch him compete, and he's just bagged the 5th gold medal of his career. At just 127 pounds, Dan McGowley took first place in the European Bench Press Championship, posting 154 pounds classic and 198 pounds equipped, meaning with a weight belt and gloves, which was a new personal best. The 33-year-old, who was told he'd never achieve anything, was already a world champion, 4 times Commonwealth champion, and British champion before his European debut in Bordeaux. Dan, who has autism and is deaf in his left ear, underwent 2 rounds of open heart surgery when he was a toddler. He's overcome as many obstacles as one could imagine to take home the double gold for classic and equipped. Dan was temporarily wheelchair-bound and first got into powerlifting more than 10 years ago when he visited the gym to lose weight. He won his first gold medal at an international competition during the Powerlifting Commonwealth Championship back in 2015 in Vancouver. When he's powerlifting, he likes carrying out the same routine over and over again. It comes naturally to him, said his mother Judith, who's also a powerlifter. When he's underneath the bar, that bar doesn't know him from anyone else. There is no distinction made because he's got problems. Number 3. Paris Olympics gets 11,000 stadium seats made of recycled city plastic. Spectators of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris will be watching the aquatic events from seats made of plastic collected in recycling bins from around the area. In fact, 80% of the 100 metric tons of plastic needed to make the seats came from a single neighborhood, which is also where it's being processed into new material by a firm called LISTICLES. Numerous tests have been carried out on the chairs, which include UV resistance, fire resistance, and toxicity, but also mechanical resistance tests to see how well they remain anchored to the floor under persistent attempts to rip them off it, perhaps by a drunken angry spectator. Marius Hamelet, co-founder of LISTICLES, said that in the lead-up to the Olympics, manufacturers have been encountering problems getting a hold of new plastics, so they switched to using waste streams. One rich vein in particular was soda bottle tops, of which 5 million were shredded by various companies looking to produce infrastructure like seating for the games. Paris, and France at large, have set ambitious targets of sustainability for the games, hoping to reduce downstream emissions by half compared to the 2012 and 2016 games. Number 2. Taylor Swift is a hero to food banks across the US at each stop of her Eras tour. Economists told a leading news channel recently that Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is becoming such a massive phenomenon that it's having demonstrable impacts on the US economy at large, but it's not only stadium venues, record labels, and ticket vendors benefiting. Everywhere she goes, Swift is making big donations to US food banks, allowing them to feed hundreds of thousands of needy Americans. The Eras Tour kicked off in Arizona, where she presented a hefty check to the Arizona Food Bank Network, big enough to fill tractor trailers with 40,000 pounds of fresh produce, and reinforce benefit programs for children who rely on school meals and seniors who rely on food stamps. Based on the homelessness burden in Washington state, estimated as the sixth highest in the country as a percentage of population, the Seattle-based non-profit Food Lifeline likely received a similar-size gift from Swift. Second Harvest of Silicon Valley also received the Swift largesse, then 3 Square Food Bank serving Las Vegas and southern Nevada, then Food Bank of the Rockies in Colorado. Swift also gave each of the 50-member strong trucking team that has done the heavy lifting and the late nights that make her show possible a $100,000 life-changing bonus, leaving them all shocked and humbled. According to Feeding America, unemployment and food insecurity skyrocketed after the pandemic. In 2022, 49 million people turned to food banks and community programs for help putting food on the table. And now, thanks to Taylor Swift, many of them will finally find some relief and some much-needed food in their bellies. Number 1. Police officers' free school inside Delhi slum is helping kids escape life on the streets. A Delhi police officer who managed to crawl his way out of the city slums as a child is now giving back to poor children who live the lifestyle of skipping school and working odd jobs. With his free school, where classes are held in the parking lot of the famous Red Fort, Thon Singh helps kids who have missed school catch up to their age bracket so they can be at the same level as their peers. Born in Rajasthan, Singh grew up with 2 siblings on the streets of New Delhi, where he would sell corn and his father would iron clothes. But despite this day-to-day existence, Singh never forgot the importance of school. Singh, while doing odd jobs, stayed in school and passed the examination for the Delhi police. Going back to police the streets on which he was raised, Singh began to feel something had to be done to help children like him who had to work instead of study. He then started a one-of-a-kind school called Thon Singh Ki Path Shala. He now teaches 80 children aged 3 to 15 outside of the Red Fort from neighborhoods like Raj Ghat, Vijay Ghat, and Shantavan. Local battery rickshaw drivers have volunteered to bring the children home from the school every day. He gets everything through donations, books, lunches, uniforms, and other supplies. Last year, 70 of Singh's students were able to enroll in proper government schools, 10 of whom achieved the highest exam scores in their class. There is no other peace than working for these children. I could be the reason towards bringing a change in their lives with just a little support. What could have been better than this for me? Said Singh. If you like the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press the super thanks button and contribute whatever you can to the channel. Your contributions will help us create more engaging and informative positive videos. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications for upcoming positive listicle videos.